So thank you everyone for taking time out for this session. So we'll be discussing a very important event which is unfolding in the banking sector and how it could be a game changer for a lot of companies. Specifically for this session, I'm going to focus on Fino Payment Bank, which is one of our client companies. So bear that in mind. Let me just share the presentation and then we start. So first, very importantly, there is a disclaimer. Fino Payment Bank is our client. They pay us to advise them on investor relations. So we have a little bit of a bias to you. And also, this is not a recommendation to buy or sell. This is just for information and educational purpose. So please keep in mind, you have to take your own decision on the investment front. Now, the changes which are happening in the banking sector is that suddenly we are seeing a lot of charges cropping up, which were earlier supposed to be free services. Like UPI transactions, we all are aware and we frequently use it. It's a free service for us. But at the back end, banks have started charging for this facility. So ICICI Bank recently came out with this circular where the payment aggregators are companies like Razorpay, PhonePe, or CC Avenue, who act as a middleman between the consumer and the bank. So ICICI Bank is going to charge around 2 basis point, capped at 6 rupees, if the payment aggregator has a escrow account with the ICICI Bank. If he doesn't have the escrow account, it is going to be 4 paisa. And if they are not even using the ICICI handle, it can even go up to 6 basis point. So these charges are very new. It came only in August. One of the reason that I could think of is that government support to subsidize UPI has been, reducing. So in FY24, the government support was 3,250 crore. It's come down to around 400 crore now. Similarly, IMPS, one of the frequently used mechanism for, small transactions that we do every now and then. So SBI started charging for internet banking and branch transfers about 25,000 rupees. So till 25,000 rupees still remain free. But if you're trying to transfer more than 25,000, the fee increases from 2 rupee to 10 rupee. And if you go to their branch to do the transaction, is much more. Now, payment industry was benefiting quite a lot from the gaming industry, where the transactions were much higher and payment aggregators were able to charge a much better fee structure from the gaming companies. But recently, government came out with a resolution banning all real money gaming. And so that has an impact on the payment aggregators. And in the indirect impact is that they'll have to recover this money from normal banking, normal payments that we see, which till now was going kind of uncharged. So we will see some charges coming up to compensate for this loss of lucrative business. The other news item which I want you to focus on is the rise in minimum balance for saving accounts. And so ICICI, kind of has been leading with a lot of charges because they are in a very strong position. So they are acting like a leader, and the rest of the industry is following up. So they came out with, a big increase in minimum balance requirement, which should later on was reduced but not fully removed. They still had a substantial increase over what levels they had previously. HDFC Bank, before ICICI Bank could reduce, HDFC Bank jumped in and increased their minimum balance requirement. So I think rest of the industry would follow. But the important point to note is that minimum they are looking for a 500 rupee penalty for non-compliance. And this number is important because as you will hear later into this discussion that Fino charges 500 rupees for maintenance of an account, a zero balance account. So that number has that little bit of relevance. So clearly, there are no free lunches anymore. So payment industry and banking sector is starting to charge a lot more for the services because there's a cost involved in providing that service. Now, when we look at the world, there are around 1.4 billion people unbanked, and we are looking for financial inclusion. 17% of those 1.4 billion are in India, and they do cite a lot of reasons for not being able to bank. One is obviously lack of money, but the others are also very important, like financial services are too expensive, uh, or financial services are too far. There's a bank branch which is probably like 40, 50 kilometers away, or it opens only during daytime. Or family has already one account and they're able to do a lot from that. Maybe they don't have documentation, uh, they don't trust, and also religious reasons. So these are some of the reasons why people are unbanked. And when I look at India, the commercial branches per 1 lakh adults is at the lower end as compared to what developed countries like US and UK have. ATMs also we have very minuscule number, but probably with the UPI we may not need those ATMs. But branches probably we need a little bit more to come through. Now, so the challenges for financial inclusion are largely driven by uh, low digital literacy. So people are a little bit afraid. Secondly, they are afraid to even step it into a banking branch because they think it is kind of overbearing and gives a feel of rich people. Branches are not available. Maybe the rural population is largely doing day wages, and bank branches are open from say 10 to 5, which is the time they are working actually. So they are not really able to access. And then banks are not interested in small ticket transactions because the economics doesn't really favor that. And there's limited availability of other financial products. And last mile advisory services are also kind of missing. So these are the challenges which are there for financial inclusion. And 22% of India's population is outside of this active formal banking system. So there's a big opportunity which is there. And so Fino Payment Bank has come out with a unique low cost solution. So what they've done is they have converted, the neighboring merchants. So the neighborhood Kirana guy has been converted into a bank branch. Now these guys are, paid a fee for on a success fee based on how much transactions they do, how many bank accounts they open, and it also gives them a little bit of a social status because they are handling money for a lot of people. Now, a day laborer or can actually walk into these kirana stores even late in the evening when they are free, and these guys are known to them for a long time, so they trust them, and there's no real hesitation going into these because they're already going to these stores to buy some of their groceries, etc. And so Fino has around 19.5 lakh merchants doing this for them, and they cover 97% of the pin codes. So that is a great number. Uh, what Fino has done is, despite being highly profitable, they have been able to invest money into technology. And so they have a full stack digital infrastructure to for the clients to come and transact on it. And so it starts from a UPI to largely, a mobile app. So they have everything on that. They have also built a full stack UPI, infrastructure for other businesses to use their infrastructure too. do their UPI transactions. Uh, Finally, Fino, since it is a payment bank, it is governed by RBI, and so regulatory wise, they have been, I would say, much better than most of the other fintechs, because fintechs normally don't have that kind of regulation which a payment bank has. And Fino has really kind of believed in doing a sustainable growth rather than just growth for sake. So one, they have been profitable, and number two, they have been able to avoid all regulatory pitfalls that we saw with some of the illustrious peers like Paytm, etc. So this is the model. Merchants act as local bankers. So initially they provide services like remittance. So anybody like a labor here in Mumbai wants to send money to their family in say Bihar, they walk up to their store and make the money, give the money to the merchant. Merchant transfers it to a Fino, counter in Bihar, and the receiving guy gets an SMS which he can show to the Fino merchant in Bihar and take the money. So that's how the remittance happens. AEPS is Aadhaar enabled, payment system in which you authenticate both the buyer and seller through Aadhaar, online Aadhaar verification. Micro ATM is, you can deposit or take out money from, your bank account. So this really, is the catchment area for, Fino, that people come just to transact initially. Once they are transacting customers, Fino's merchant really prompt them, prompt the customers to open a bank account so that they can convert them into a regular clientele for future. And once they open a bank account, Fino tries to do cross selling with various other products. So this is largely the business model for Fino. So when you look at the journey of customer across the Fino platform, so initially when he's transacting, they are doing like 2 to 3 transactions maybe a year, or so each transaction is like 25, 27 rupees. So the value of that customer who is walking in is around 75 to 100 rupees. Once that customer opens a bank account, so Fino charges around 499 rupees per year for maintaining that zero balance bank account. And the customer gets a debit card immediately on within like 5 minutes of opening the bank account. It doesn't take more than that. And so the value of the customer increases from 7,500 to 300 to 400. So Fino has already kind of reached to that scale. And now what they're doing is enabling these account holders to do digital transactions. Now, digital transactions are largely UPI transactions where they are paying doing peer-to-peer or peer-to-merchant, or they are doing bill payments, etc. The value increases to 400 to 500 rupee per customer. And once they download their app and do a lot of things on the app, it goes to 500 to 700. And once, Fino starts to do a lot more cross-selling and lending, the value goes to 1,000 rupees per customer. So this is the value journey of a customer, which Fino is, taking them through. So Fino actually wants to become the, bank where customer does his first transaction and opens their first account and probably take their first home loan. So that's the journey which they want the customer to take. Fino actually started its journey as a payment technology company in 2006. Then it became more like a banking correspondent for some banks. In 2017, they launched the Fino Payment Bank. They got the license. In 2020, they became the first profitable Fino Payment Bank, most profitable payment bank. And since then, their journey has been nothing short of a great execution. 19.5 lakh merchants covering 97% PIN codes. Strong customer base of 1.5 crore. So almost 1% of population have a bank account with them. Of this 1.5 crore, 53 lakhs are digitally active as of last quarter. And Fino has a deposit base of around 2,200 odd crores. And the cost of fund is only 2.1% for them. So I already talked about this journey. So phase one is transaction, which has been successfully completed. So this is a mature, segment, business segment for them. Acquisition process is still going on. So the conversion is happening from transacting customer to owned customer. And phase three has just started, which is monetization of this customer. Now, just looking at the numbers, so the throughput of remittance, which is around 36,000 crore in FY25. As you can see, it was growing recently till FY24, and it's taken a big step down. The reason over here is one, a lot of business is shifting to UPI. And number two is that RBI came with much stronger regulations in remittances. Earlier, you didn't need to do KYC for the sender and the receiver. Now you need to do KYC for both ends, so that increases a little bit of cost. Fino being regulated by RBI much more closely, they follow these regulations very, strongly, I would say. But there are a lot of smaller fintechs, etc., who do the same thing. Maybe they are a little bit lax in adopting these regulations. AAPS, again, it's a kind of a flat line now because of the UPI, this thing. And micro ATM again is losing its importance in the changing digital world. So these are the mature segments of Fino, and now they contribute only 25% of the total revenue. But they remain important in terms of acquiring the customer for the next leg of the journey. So still, these are important segments. Now, this is, the second leg, which is converting to savings account or the CASA, as we say, current account and saving accounts. So the accounts have reached, 1.43 crores now, and it's grown at 53%. So every 10 second, Fino is opening one bank account. The average balance per customer has also, improved at a 12% CAGR. Now, most of these guys, every year they have to renew their account. So when we look at the renewal income, it's growing quite steadily. And almost 60% of the bank accounts get renewed. So that's a very decent number. And so what you see over here, 1.43 crore is actually the net savings account that they have right now. So 110 were there in FY24. 60% of that would have renewed. So that's around 70 lakh. And they would have added another 60 lakh in the last year. So average deposit have also, grown from 352 rupees to 1849. Sorry, this is the average balance that Fino has. So it's grown from 352 crore to 1849 crore in the last year, and now it's gone to 2200 odd in June quarter. Yeah. So normally, we have seen that these kind of platform companies, which are there like Zomato, if we look at their registered EBITDA, uh, it is equal to the platform fee that they're making plus the membership fee. So eventually it boils down to, what the platform fee is. So in the case of Fino, it's coming out to the amount that they're charging for the CASA account. So rest of the things, kind of get adjusted. Now, Fino is leading the digital charge, and that is where the story becomes even more interesting. So the throughput through the digital platform has increased from 48,000 crore to now 2,25,000 crore. And their own revenue has jumped 47 times. And this is just the start. So, the digitally active customers are only one third of their total customers at the moment. And transaction count, once you are digitally active, you tend to do a lot more transactions. And so that's why you see a big jump coming in. So as people more and more, customers become active on digital, this throughput and transaction counts are going to go through the roof. Now, there's a lot of proof that we have, which says that, digitally active customer is way more important. Um, so when we look at average transaction counts per customer, we're talking about, 25 to 27 rupees per, transaction. And on average, they were doing like 2.3 transactions who are non-UPI. Suddenly, when you are doing a UPI, you are doing 47 transactions a year. Monthly balance also you tend to keep much higher. So a non-UPI, customer would have only 746 rupees on average in their account, but a UPI customer has 2,472. So a big jump. So this is all reflected in the throughput, which is up 86x between UPI and non-UPI. And average ticket size is also kind of a 4x difference. So as people are moving to digital format of transaction, um, the activity level, the stickiness, the renewals, everything improves. So, and this is just when they've just started uh, boarding people on the digital platform. So in lifetime of Fino, they have handled 7 crore customers, of which annual transacting customers are 3 crore. They've been able to convert 1.5 crore into CASA accounts. Digital accounts are those guys where you use doing UPI. And only 5 lakh customers are on mobile app at the moment. So, there's a long rope to growth. So CASA customers can easily double. Digital customers can go up 3x. And customers on the mobile app can actually go 10, maybe more, 10 to 20 times from where they are right now. They have also one more business, which is, cash management system. Uh, so where, sorry. So where what they do is since they are handling, they have so many touch points. A lot of e-commerce people use them. So when you order things on, say, Amazon, etc., Flipkart, and you do cash on delivery, uh, the delivery guy after a certain cash level goes and deposits money to one of the merchant points. So there are 19.5 lakh merchants, so they're able to handle a lot more. So they have around 235 such e-commerce kind of companies who use Fino's platform for the cash management. And so this business has been growing steadily and is a very complementary opportunity for them. Now, the big change which is happening for Fino is that transaction business used to be 65% of their revenue in FY21. It's come down to 28% last year and now down to even 25%. CASA, which is like a subscription income for them, it's gone up to 24%. Then they have CMS, which is around stable at around 9-10%. Um, but digital has come from nowhere. In FY23, it was just 1%. It's now 21% of the revenue. And they have some treasury operations, which is what the others are. But look at the margins. CASA product has 53% margin. Now, CASA, there are two ways in which they earn from the customer. One is the 499 rupees they charge annually for maintenance of the account. Plus, they get all the CASA balance at 2.1%, which they invest into government securities or so 25% they can do an FD, 75% they have to do a government security. And so they earn interest on what CASA balances they have. So that's the most lucrative business with 53% margin. Digital is while the margins are 21% and in line with what they're making in AEPS or micro ATM. But digital business is growing very fast, as you saw that UPI versus non-UPI. Um, uh, the rate of growth is extremely different. Remittance, which is a little bit of a mature business, is at 4% margin. So the change of product mix is leading to improvement in EBITDA margins. So it's from 6.6% EBITDA margin, Fino has gone to 12.7. And as digital and these guys pick up, probably they'll end up at 17-18% margin in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, this is what they have been able to deliver in terms of cash profit. So their cash profit has grown at 31% CAGR. And so we are talking, in an industry where cash burn is the most prominent theme, and people are doing adjusted EBITDAs and all those to figure out if there's some EBITDA they are making. But Fino has been highly profitable since FY20. So last 5 years of profitable growth, and EBITDA has grown at 41% CAGR. They have been, PAT positive. So EPS, you can see, has doubled in, largely 2 years. And this is despite spending so much in technology. So they are spending a huge amount in technology. They are also currently, having a custom banking solution being developed. Currently, they are using a transaction-based banking system where they're paying per transaction. And so they're spending 185 crore, of which 83 crore is already spent till FY25. They'll move to their own banking solution. This will improve their EBITDA quite a bit because currently, they're paying for the banking software per transaction. So they're paying almost around 30 odd crores a year. And this 185 crore that they're spending, they'll amortize probably over 5 years or something like that. But with the increasing transactions, this 30 crore cost would have gone to 50 crore. But in 185 crore spread over 5 years would be more like 30 crore. So they will start saving from next year onwards once this customized banking solution is available to them. Now, there are a lot of low-hanging fruits beyond the growth that they are seeing in CASA and the digital, which normally would keep them in 20% plus growth CAGR. But Fino has been hitting the limits on the payment bank side. They have now they need a little bit better flexibility, and that's why they're going for the small finance bank license. So currently in a payment bank, they have a limit of 2 lakh rupee per unit, per account. They can't hold money more than 2 lakh rupee per account. They have to shift into some universal bank like ICICI, etc., which through which they transact. So in Q1 FY26, around 242 crore was held in other banks, which was the balance about 2 lakh rupees. And the second area where they are losing out is Fino provides its UPI infrastructure for B2B application. So here also they can't operate the escrow account because of the 2 lakh rupee limit. And we estimate that on 2.5 lakh crore of transactions that they're doing, the free float that they would enjoy is around 350 crore. And so total, all this is around 600 crore of free float, which they are not able to take advantage of at the moment. So as soon as the small finance bank license comes in, they will be able to keep this free float to them and earn a spread of around 4 to 5%. So this itself could be 30 crore on PBT, which is a 25% increase in PAT. So just by being able to keep the free float to them on current levels, this free float will be much higher 2 years down the line by the time their small finance bank, etc., is fully operational. Secondly, currently they are not able to target the enterprise customers because of this, low balance limit. So they will be able to go ahead and target, much larger customers. And also, it will help them uh, diversify some of their growth and improve their profitability. So if they start lending, because currently they are not allowed to lend, and they have to put money only in government security or a little bit in FD, uh, and they are earning a spread. So currently their yield from government security is 5.96%, and they are paying 2.1% to the customer as savings interest. So they are making only around 4%, less than 4% at the moment. Suppose they are able to start lending to customers at around 12-13%. They have 19.5 lakh merchants whom they can target immediately. They know all of their business. So lending could be a big boost. Uh, Let me show you, I'll come back to calculation on the lending part, but this is what the analysts are predicting at the moment without the small finance bank license. So they are protect. This is the PBT, projections. So in FY25, they did 108 crore. People are projecting 143, 180, 225. So around a 28% CAGR is what is being projected. And PBIT margin is expected to grow by 80 basis point in this period. Now, this is the CLSA estimate. So kind of similar. So net profit goes from 92.5 to 108 and 135 crore. So 16% growth over here, and another some 25% growth in net profit is what CLA is projecting. So apart from CLA, MK is the other covering analyst. They are projecting a much muted number, 94 crore and 120 crore. Uh, So MK is very conservative. They're giving a target multiple of 19 times. CLS is 24.2 times. So target price is between 300 to 390. Now this is what happens. If once they get the small finance banking license, suppose they do 1,000 crore loan. So by the time they get this license, their total, um I would say, net worth would have increased. Uh, So, their total, deposits, which are currently around 2,300 crore, would have gone up to around 4,000 to 5,000 crore because of the free float coming into them. Plus, they're growing at 40-50%. So ideally, they would be able to lend around 85% of their deposit base. So around 4,000 crore on a 5,000 crore net worth. So I'm assuming that in FY27 they do 1,000 crore loan at 12% interest rate. Um, they can add around 48 crore to their gross margins. Uh, in FY28, where there will be like the first full year of operation probably of small finance bank, they can do a 240 crore net revenue, a little bit of credit cost, etc. So we are talking about numbers which are substantially higher. So when you look at these estimates, they're talking about net profit of 135, 120 crore. And actually, let's go to 169 crore for FY28. But lending could be a totally different ball game for Fino. The numbers can look totally different. Now let's compare Fino with some of their peers. So Fino offers a full gamut of services. So there were like 17, 18 payment bank licenses which were issued. Only these 4, 5 have actually survived. And Paytm Payment Bank, as you know, is not fully operational at the moment. RBI has put restrictions on them. Um, Airtel is supported by their other business, which is recharges. So it kind of works well for them. Um, Indian Post Office have a decent, credibility. So that is also really helping them. And then there's NSDL Payment Bank. Now, when we look at the balance per customer, um, Fino has done phenomenally well. When you look at what Airtel is doing and what NSDL is doing, it's virtually, beating Indian Post Office. So that is the kind of credibility pull that Fino has demonstrated. That's amazing, feat to achieve in such a difficult business environment. And look at the profitability. I mean, Fino's margins are way, way better than any of its peers. So not only Fino is doing things better, they are also highly profitable. ROE is also currently, they are at 13.7%. But Fino is in a investment phase right now in the digital part. They're spending big money, like 100 odd crore plus for building their stack. So, and despite that, their ROEs are very decent as compared to any other peers which are there. Looking at the valuations, this is price to revenue because most of the peers are not profitable. So we have no choice but to use price to revenue. So Fino Payment Bank, despite a healthy, 3-year revenue CAGR, is at the bottom. So some of its peers like Paytm, etc., are trading at extremely high valuation. Now, so we did a little bit of comparison between Paytm and Fino. So Paytm has around 80,000 crore market cap. Fino is 2,200, so 36 times. Revenue wise, Fino is only 3.7 times, or rather, Paytm is only 3.7 times of Fino's revenue. Net revenue, it is 5.5 times. PBT, they are loss making. Merchants, Paytm has 3 crore, Fino is only 19 lakhs. Um, Customers, which is transiting customers. So as you had noticed, Fino had 1.5 crore people who have bank account with them. Paytm has 7 crore, so 4.7 time. But look at this difference. Fino is able to achieve all this with 2,400 people, which Paytm is able to do with 32,000 salespeople. So the revenue is only 5x, but the salesperson are 13x. Now, when I look at the GMV, Fino is 10% of Paytm, but the growth is extremely high because Fino started only like 2 3 years back. So they are going at 70% and Paytm was 19%. Revenue per customer, if you see, Fino has actually already gone beyond Paytm. So as the digital business picks up, I think market will recognize that this is a much more better profitable option to look at. Now, when I look at all this, net revenue of Fino, this 3,879 crores, which they're making payment services, almost 70% comes from only one instrument, which is their sound box. And Fino has also just started doing that. So they have all this 3 crore merchants and they charge around 100 rupee or per month or 1,200 rupees, per year for that sound box. So this 3 crore into 1,200 rupees is 3.6 crore rupees, 3,600 crore. So large part of the revenue you can actually explain just because of the sound box. They're hardly making anything else. So Fino, if it is able to convert out of this 19 lakh merchants, so if they are able to convert even 5 lakh merchants into adopting the sound box, that would be more like 5 lakh into 1,200, that's like 60 crore, right? 60 crore of additional number without any too much of expense. So what I'll do is I'll stop here and happy to take any questions if you have.
Sir, this is Abhishek from Perpetuity. I just had one question around when you had that slide where you talked about that extra float these guys are not able to keep because of the digital transaction that you made that 600 crore kind of a number, 301 they are not able to keep it, and if once they get because of that because of transaction that another 240, that 604%. Can you please help us make us understand that bit a bit more? How does that play out?
Okay, so see, they have 1.5 crore CASA accounts,
Right.
and in some of the accounts, the free float or the balance is going beyond 2 lakhs.
Right.
So what they have to do is they have to deposit, that money with some universal bank like ICICI Bank or Sarvodaya Bank, etc. They have to
Right,
shift that money to these banks because they can't keep more than 2 lakhs. So shift it in form of FDs or something like that.
right.
So that amount is in Q1 FY26 was 242 crores.
So on an average, 240 crores was parked in another bank, which they could have, if they had the license, it could have been with them. Is that the right understanding?
Yeah, that's correct. So if they had the small finance bank license, they would have been able to keep bank balances about 2 lakhs.
Okay,
So this 242 crore would have remained with them.
got it.
So at the moment, their CASA balance is only 2200 odd crore.
Right.
So around 10% is going to other banks.
Other banks. Got it. Got it. That point is understood. And the second portion, that calculation that you do
So
it?
second portion is, so when you are doing these UPI transactions on your platform,
Yes.
so now when you do P2P, the balance is immediately transferred
P2P is person to person, right? That is like
person to person. So
me
you pay to
transferring to you
me,
or somebody else, something like that.
correct. So when you pay to me, it will be like direct transfer. It will come immediately into my bank account.
Right.
But if you pay to some merchant,
Right.
so what happens is that the merchant money will go to payment aggregators, payment aggregator. Payment aggregator will put into an escrow account,
Right.
which is held by a bank.
Okay.
So as I showed you in the first slide, that ICICI Bank operates an escrow account for a lot of payment aggregators,
Right.
and which was earlier free for payment aggregators, but now they started charging 2 paisa, 4 paisa,
Got
depending
it.
on the.
Got it.
So now Fino cannot act as a
Escrow
escrow account
account.
because of the 2 lakh limit.
So right now they will be doing it with some other for their transaction. They are putting it in some other's bank. And
So they
once
would be
they get
using
a
ICICI Bank or somebody.
right, and
Uh,
paying for that 2 paisa or something as a charge right now.
Correct.
Which if they get their license, this part can stay with them and they could earn money on this again. And that
Exactly.
is how you said that 300 plus 300 and 6% on that becomes like 30 odd crores.
Yeah.
Got it, sir. This is very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, Divyansh, you go ahead.
Thanks for the let's say overview on the Fino. I've been tracking this stock. We met the management also,
Okay.
but few questions which we couldn't cover or we couldn't ask them, right? So this CASA subscription fees, if I have to see, there is one which is fresh customer, then there's a renewal, and now they've added float income.
Hmm.
But apart from that, there is also this SMS charges and let's say bank statement charges and everything, right? So
So when you do 499, you don't have to pay for those charges beyond a fair usage.
okay.
तो अभी जैसा होता है कि like 8 ATM withdrawals are free or
Hmm.
so many SMSs are free. So you get charged only after a certain limits are crossed.
Yeah, so the question was actually that, isn't like those banks which are infamous for the invisible or hidden charges, while TK, it's always there in the terms and conditions. I'm just trying to understand that if and when they become an SFB, and then they go down a path to target, let's say, a much more aware customer, will this line of business effectively shrink over a period of time, or uh, basis your interactions with the management? How do they see this
It
line
doesn't
going
matter
up?
actually whether you pay a upfront fee for the savings account. So even now, Fino has various types of savings account. So if you pay like 2,500 rupee as a minimum balance,
Hmm.
this fee is waived off.
Got it.
So effectively, banks need to charge 400, 500 rupee to cover their cost.
Hmm.
And that is what we saw why, ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank were, wanting to increase the minimum balance requirement
Hmm.
because they're not able to meet, um, you know,
The expenses on UPI, at least, let's say.
exactly. So it doesn't really matter whether, as the customer becomes more affluent,
Hmm.
like if you and I want to go and open an account, we will rather not want to pay that 499.
Yeah.
We'll keep because we'll in any case keep like 10, 20,000 rupees.
Hmm.
So, so for Fino, it doesn't matter because they'll make money on the CASA.
Hmm. And with UPI usage, even in, let's say, their customer segment going up, right? Because if you remove that B2B, effectively it's P2P, P2M transactions that their customers are doing.
Mm.
Do you see a challenge that customer acquisition will slow down? So will slow down. I'll give you my thought process and let me know if I'm going somewhere wrong. Till now, if I had to access the balance in my bank account, I needed a physical presence of either my bank or an agent of that bank.
Mm.
And that's where Fino plugged in the gap beautifully. कि यार
Mm.
आपका बैंक एसबीआई होगा तो भी मैं बीसी हूँ, माइक्रो एटीएम कर दूंगा, नहीं है तो मेरे बैंक कस्टमर बन जाओ, तो you will not have other charges, let's say, that bank might otherwise apply to you. But once um, the digital adoption keeps on happening,
Mm.
then the customer, and as Fino also said, that they are not the primary account, right? So effectively mean the customer already has a bank account somewhere.
Mm.
तो वो यूपीआई में ट्रांजैक्ट कर लेगा, राइट? सो व्हाई इज ही, व्हाई, व्हाट इज द continued relevance that Fino is going to enjoy as UPI adoption keeps on happening in rural areas? Or is just the scale is too big and therefore it can continue?
No, so as we discussed that 22% of the population is still unbanked. So they are still doing those APS and remittance. Remittance, despite coming down, is 36,000 crore turnover,
Hmm.
right? It's a big number still.
Hmm. So it's
So
just that the
still,
pie is big
yeah, the
and
pie is still very big, meaning there are a lot of people who are unbanked.
hmm.
And the thing is, once you open an account with a bank, very difficult that you will close it
Hmm.
until there's some issue.
Hmm.
Meaning, I opened my first bank account
It's painful to close a bank account.
in 1987
Hmm.
when I went for my, undergrad.
Hmm.
I don't use that bank account; it's still open.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you hardly, mean even with PSU banks,
Hmm.
if you try and close that bank account,
Hmm.
he will request you and he'll give you all emotional things.
Hmm.
And so I tried to close my account in HDFC Bank. It took me 9 months. And
Hmm.
that is when the head of retail banking in HDFC Bank was my classmate. So I finally had to tell him that यार मेरा वो बंद करा दे.
It was not about closer. You might not close, but I'm just saying that you can still continue because now it doesn't matter which bank, let's say the shittiest of the bank that you bank
So,
with. It doesn't
so,
matter because UPI infrastructure has made it all at par.
so actually, meaning I've been missing. I don't know about you all, but I've been missing the Paytm's wallet. It
Mm.
was very convenient to do all those small transactions, etc. You
Mm.
put money in one thing and you link it to everything.
Yeah,
Um, and now you don't really want to spoil your, bank
bank
statement for
statement.
all these small transactions. So I myself have been thinking of, getting a Fino, this thing
Mm.
to link it to my, fast tags and paying small things here and there.
Mm.
So I think there's a need for a one transacting account and
Mm.
or so this is a
One
wallet,
savings
but which is a regulatory controlled,
compliant.
so
Yeah.
much safer.
Mm.
So I think there is enough space for them to continue to grow.
Got
And so I won't really worry too much about the growth right now.
understood. I have just one more question and then I will join back the queue.
Sure.
So, with respect to their SFB plans, is the customer profile going to be same or different? Because let's say you also mentioned that they can now go to large enterprises. But if for being able to target a large enterprise, you need to have a presence and, let's say, infra much more closer to an urban area than a rural area that, let's say, Fino operates in. So any, let's say, views that
No,
you can share on.
when I meant large, it meant like, doing a B2B deal. So when we joined Macquarie, I think Abhishek is there or not, but they opened our account in Standard Chartered. We are stuck with Standard Chartered since then. Hmm.
Hmm.
Now think of something like Zomato or Uber. Suppose Fino does a deal that, all the money which these guys, delivery partners or the drivers are receiving, come into a Fino account. Now, they'll have to part of the benefits with these guys, which is the platform company Zomato or Uber.
Hmm.
So those kind of deals they will be able to do.
But the challenge still remains, right? Zomato, for whatever, is a tier one, tier two city phenomena.
It doesn't matter,
Tier
no? Because if they're see,
और
I'm
tier 5
saying,
तक भी ले जाओ, but they say that 75% is in unbanked
अब
rural areas. तो उधर कौन सा B2B डील करेगा?
नहीं, B2B नहीं है, बेसिकली ये है कि जैसे उसके डिलीवरी पार्टनर्स हैं.
हम्म
So when we joined Macquarie, it's not that we didn't have a bank account.
हम्म
We all had our own bank accounts.
हम्म
Company said that this is the salary account.
yeah
कहानी खत्म. We all opened.
हम्म
Similarly, when say Zomato says to its delivery partner that this is your bank account to receive all your delivery
payment
charges, etc.,
हम्म
because Zomato is getting something out of it.
हम्म
So ऐसे deals possible. I'm not saying that they are talking to Zomato.
हाँ that
I'm giving an
understood
example
हम्म
that they might be able to do these kind of deals also. So, so wherever there's a larger population involved,
हम्म
they can go and do these kind of transactions. And see, the clientele profile doesn't change. The delivery guy, the Uber driver, those are the same guys
हम्म
to whom they are catering to right now. They can go and
got it.
transact on any merchant anytime in the evening, night. They don't have to go to a branch. They
हम्म
get an app. Immediately they get a debit card. These are all
हम्म
social status symbols for them.
हम्म
So the convenience
हम्म
which the Fino, account offers,
हम्म
as compared to a conventional bank,
हम्म
um, is what is going to really attract people to open an account with them.
got it. And just on the SFB customer, are they looking at the same profile for the credit, or that is going to be different asset and liability?
So at the moment, they are in process of hiring people for building this lending business.
Hmm.
So 100% we are not sure. They haven't really told anything.
Understood.
What will it follow? But see, SFB has its own limitations. So 75% or 70% of the lending has to be priority sector lending,
PSL.
right?
Hmm.
So they'll have to think through. Obviously, I'm sure they will not want to go to the MFI route.
Hmm.
So they'll have to think about other options which are like secured lending kind of options. 25% they can do other kind of lending.
Hmm.
So that they might be able to immediately start.
Got it.
So they are in process of hiring the people, and let's see what kind of people they hire, because that will give us a lot of clue. Because the background of those people will tell us where they will go.
Got it. Understood. Thank you. I'll join back the queue.
Okay. So Dhruvi, your question is on the small finance. So banking correspondent business is actually, they are working with Union Bank at the moment, and it's 100 crore worth of business where they source, bank accounts, etc. for Union Bank. Once the limit for 2 lakh rupee goes away, they will use this channel to make them their own customer. So banking correspondent business will definitely go away, but it will improve their CASA. So I don't think they're going to lose the revenue or the margin. So I hope that answers your question. So anyone else who has any question that thanks. Okay. So I think
Rakesh
yeah.
sir, after SSB,
Mm-hmm.
let's say 40 odd crores incremental PAT comes. But whatever businesses these guys will move from, let's say, banking channel partner and all that, वहां से PAT dip कितना होगा any idea? Have you guys calculated?
Ankur, you were saying that they moved from SFB to Universal Bank?
No,
Uh,
when you get the SFP license, right? So on their 600 crores, you estimated 30 crores of PAT.
hmm.
But then the banking channel business will go away. So how much dip in revenue or PAT will come once they move away from banking channel business?
So banking correspondent is only like 99, 100 crore of revenue and 20% margin.
Hmm.
So on PBT, I think they are doing 15, 20 crore. But as I said, that these are largely accounts where the balances are more than 2 lakh.
Hmm.
So once they are able to handle the 2 lakh plus accounts,
Hmm.
they'll stop work for Union Bank and start, shifting this balances to themselves.
So should we knock off this 15 crore from the 30 crore PBT to get net impact?
It will get subsumed in their CASA.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay. Thanks. Good.
Uh,
Hi, Dipesh.
Okay, sorry.
Dipesh, unmute yourself.
Hi, Rakesh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, you said about the wallet. Are they getting into credit card to cash also?
So I don't think at the moment there's any, they're looking at credit cards at the moment.
No, I'm talking about a transaction where people transfer their money of the credit card, whatever the credit limit they have, to directly to cash. There's something like what PhonePe is already doing.
Mm-hmm.
PhonePe and MobiKwik both are doing. And that remains good because they generally the companies charge a fee of around 3%, and
Okay.
when they transfer the from credit card to cash, the credit card company charges about 2%. So there's 1% effective money which comes to the wallet.
So I'm not sure about that. I haven't really heard anything about, this aspect from Fino. They do have micro ATMs, so I'm not sure whether credit card can be used to withdraw money from those micro ATMs.
Mhm.
But maybe I'll check and come back to you. I haven't really heard from them on this, credit card to cash transaction.
Okay. And is there any margin profile which they've given for the utility payments of these? I mean, whatever payments have been done from the wallet?
So at the moment, they are still working on their, bill payment module. It is not live on their app at the moment. So once it is live, maybe we'll have more details on the charges. So they do have bill payment, but currently you have to go to the merchant and do it.
Okay, it's not a direct payment. I mean, it's not as simple as which was being done by Paytm or
It's
GPay.
it's in works for them. So maybe in the next few months you will see that it is live.
Okay, and what is the wallet called actually?
No, so there's no wallet. There's for them it is a bank account only. I'm saying it has the features of a wallet
Okay,
uh, because you can keep some money here for transacting, and you can link it to all your payments from this bank.
right, right,
So instead of having your main bank account linked, you reduce your risk and you also have a different bank statement.
right. For the smaller payments and the generally the utility payments.
Yeah, for us, so that is what I mean, for people who are rich and higher class, that is what is the utility for them. But for smaller, poor or the section underprivileged section of society, as you saw, the bank balance itself is like 1,000 to 2,000 rupees.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bigger banks don't have this kind of a feature where they allow them to uh, do transactions at an economic cost.
Right. And going ahead, where do you see this ROI coming to?
So currently it is 13, 14%.
The ROA.
The ROE, ROA.
ROA. I'm talking about the ROA.
So ROA is around, I think,
Right now it's
4%.
around 2.
Yeah. So I'll just show you one chart on that. Just hold on. So we do have one chart. Yeah. So this is the average, ROA versus ROE. So Fino Payment Bank, 3-year average is 2.5%, and ROE is around 13 odd percent. Where will it go to? I think, with small finance bank license coming in, they'll be able to make a lot more on the same asset base. With the lending, it will increase further. So, I haven't done any calculations, but I think it will be closer to 4% once the lending piece is in, you know, lending piece is fully activated.
Okay. And if similar projection will be for the ROE also?
So ROE, 20% plus is what we're expecting them to do once the lending is also operational.
Right. And since they're growing at a phenomenal pace, as in last 3 years or 5 years growth, if I see it's more than 50%, won't they need continuous capital for this?
So,
I mean, I'm just asking whether they'll need a continuous capital raising.
At the moment, what they are doing, they don't need capital. But once they get into lending, probably they might need to beef up their net worth a little bit. So, as you saw that they are free cash flow generating at the moment. And so they're not really burning cash or they don't need that much capital. But once it comes to lending, you would want to have a better net worth. So yes, they might raise some capital in 2027 or something like that.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, Rakesh.
Yeah. Yeah, Vilina, go ahead. Vilina, unmute yourself.
I'm good. My questions are answered. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Divyansh, you had follow-up question.
Yeah, a couple of more questions. So if I look at any universal bank, right, or मतलब ठीक है SFBs की तो अभी वाट लगी पड़ी है तो I will avoid them. The amount of fee income that they earn and their ROA typically match a lot. And therefore, मतलब, one way to say is that whatever you earn in other fee is your business and baki lending is just going on, right? But they also serve a segment where you can cross-sell a lot of products of mutual funds, insurance, earning commission, and typically happens more on the liability side. Now, Fino customer given, let's say 1300 रुपए का average balance, 1300 का average balance is there, right? And given the rural profile, do you, from your experience of, let's say, either visiting these sites or meeting these customers or with the management, do you see their ability to cross-sell these financial products to enable another line of revenue, or that we should effectively ignore and therefore payments business is one and credit business is another, but there is no bank assurance and mutual fund distribution business?
Yeah, okay, the customer has to be of that level.
So effectively, you are also saying कि unlikely.
नहीं, unlikely नहीं है. So basically, the way to think about is that Fino Payment Bank is growing along with the need of the customer. When the need of the customer was remittance, AEPS, that is what their main business was. Now it's shifted to UPI transfers. So Fino Payment Bank has already built its full UPI stack. So they are able to do it cost effectively. Number three is that now that a customer is looking for some credit. तो अभी तो बहुत सारे आने हैं अभी इसके अंदर, मतलब the digital business started only 3 years back,
हम्म
and to be able to achieve what they've achieved is quite credible.
हम्म
अभी तो बिल पेमेंट ही नहीं है अभी तो,
हम्म
to think of it. अभी what we discussed about Paytm, 80, 70, 80% of the business coming from just Soundbox.
हम्म
अभी तो they have Soundbox, they haven't really implemented that.
हम्म
So for them, the runway to growth is way stronger.
हम्म
So insurance will also come, maybe someday mutual fund distribution, so everything will come.
Basically, it will evolve with the customer evolving.
Exactly. So the thing is that, but this bank is not in hurry.
Hmm.
They are not burning cash. They can do all these things today. They can burn cash and do it,
Hmm.
today also. But they are very cognizant that they have to keep growing their profit at certain rate.
Hmm.
So they are spending what they are earning. They're
Got
not
it.
going beyond that.
Understood. And the last question was that, let's say that 19 lakhs merchants that you had mentioned in the presentation, or 18, what they mentioned in their presentation, they mentioned 8 is their own, and 10 lakhs are these API merchants, or effectively not their own merchants. So what is
So
this
out of
merchant
the,
base?
see, out of the 19.5 lakh merchant, the main active merchants probably would be 5, 7 lakhs only.
Hmm.
So they need to focus. So when I said the sound box 5 lakh, this is
No, no,
their
I wasn't necessarily coming from a soundbox business. I was just trying to understand what is this other 10 lakh business that they said that 8 lakh हमारे हैं, बाकी 10 lakh are API merchants. So is it
Hmm.
that someone else acquires and they're using Fino stack and
No, I
doing
won't
stuff?
think like that. I think, uh, some merchants are totally dedicated. They are doing much higher throughputs, and they
Hmm.
are focused on this business.
Okay.
So for them, see, if earlier, if you see, they were doing 700 crore worth of revenue from remittance and transact payments.
Hmm.
They were paying around 500 crore to the merchant.
Hmm.
Now they are doing CASA. They need to find ways to pay to that merchant, because the margins are going up for Fino.
Hmm.
So they have to find ways to pay to the merchant so that he remains interested.
Hmm.
So they will have to, find avenues. So that is one of the challenges for this merchant network, is to keep them financially engaged.
Hmm.
So they'll have to narrow down a little bit. They will have to think of things like, super merchant who will control, merchants down the line. So they'll
Hmm.
do all those kind of tricks. They already have a separate, sales force just for the CASA merchants,
Hmm.
because that is a different skill set.
Hmm.
So they are doing all those things to maintain and grow that merchant base. So they will be categorized into various categories. Not all merchants will be equal,
Hmm.
and they'll have to find, ways that their key merchants are financially well
Well off.
engaged. Yeah.
Got. Got. This is super helpful. Thank you.
So I think there are no further questions. So thank you so much. If you guys are interested in meeting the management, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll happy to engage. We'll also happy to arrange, an experience visit for you guys to their centers, and maybe you can open your own accounts. That might be probably the best thing to do. So thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone.